In Jammu and Kashmir, restrictions have been completely lifted in 5 districts of Jammu and limited to the night in 5 districts. Similar local relaxations was done in 9 districts of Kashmir. Over 5,000 calls were made in one day in Srinagar via public points for phone connectivity. External Affairs Minister S. Javadekar conveys to his Chinese counterpart that actions on Article 370 is purely an internal matter of India and has no implication for India's external boundaries, LAC with China and LOC with Pakistan. Relief and rescue operations in full swing in flood-affected areas of Kerala, Karnataka and Gujarat. Situation improves in Karnataka's flood-hit Kolhapur and Sangli districts with receding of water levels of 2 rivers. In international news, operations resume at Hong Kong airport a day after protesters shut down the major travel hub. And in sports, in a milestone moment for India in motorsport, Aishwarya Pise becomes the first Indian to win the Bajaj World Cup with a tally of 65 points in the women's category in Hungary. Aishwarya also placed second in the junior category with 46 points. Good morning. Headlines at 10:30. I am Anil Thomas. Now for the stories in detail. The J&K government has strongly refuted some reports in media about firing by security forces and deaths or injuries that are reported. It has categorically denied that any firing incident has happened in the state. The government in the press release has also reiterated that not a single bullet has been fired by security forces or has there been any casualty. It further said that the government is committed to maintaining peace and public order and people have been most cooperative.
And you're also aware on Saturday and Sunday there were large relaxations. A number of shops were open on Saturday. On Sunday the number of shops open increased to over 70%, facilitating people to do their Eid shopping. The district and divisional administration carried out a number of activities, including interacting with Maulavis, interacting with people, facilitating the sale of sacrificial animals, organizing mandis, and as a result we have had an extremely peaceful and relaxed Eid today.
Meanwhile, restrictions have been completely lifted in 5 districts of Jammu and limited to the night in 5 districts of Jammu. Based on local assessment of the situation, similar local relaxation was done in the 9 other districts of Kashmir. Meanwhile, restrictions on connectivity continue as a result of the security requirements across Jammu and Kashmir. However, people are being helped to connect with their relatives and children outside the state through widespread deployment of helplines at convenient locations. Over 5,000 calls were made in one day in Srinagar. Over 300 public points for phone connectivity are functional across the Kashmir division. The Srinagar-based CRPF helpline 14411 has been reactivated to help those who require help for their families or are in distress. It also said that the help can be sought over the official Twitter handle CRPF Madadkar. Jammu and Kashmir Police has said that some Twitter handles have been identified which are being operated from outside the states and spreading rumors. Speaking at a press conference on Monday, Inspector General of Police Kashmir SP Pani said that action is being taken against these handles.
We see some malicious campaign by on the social media platform being done, and that has been strongly refuted, and we also request citizens not to pay attention to any such kind of malicious campaign which is being done, which is being carried out by mischievous people. We have strongly denied this, and we have also taken up the matter with the service provider to take legal action as per the law.
India has told China that the developments pertaining to legislation passed recently by the Parliament on Jammu and Kashmir is an internal matter for India. During a meeting with his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi in Beijing, S. Javadekar, the External Affairs Minister, said that India's decision on J&K are the country's internal matter and the sole prerogative of the country. asserting that the legislative measures were aimed at promoting better governance and socio-economic development. Jaishankar also said there were no implications for either the external boundaries of India or the line of actual control with China. Adding that India was not raising any additional territorial claims, the External Affairs Minister said that Chinese concerns in this regard were misplaced. He also conveyed that so far as the Indian-China boundary question was concerned, the two sides had agreed to a fair, reasonable and mutually acceptable settlement of the boundary question on the basis of the 2005 political parameters and guiding principles. The Chinese Foreign Minister also referred to rising tensions between India and Pakistan as a result of these changes. S. Jaishankar emphasized that these changes had no bearing on Pakistan as it was an internal matter. It did not impact the LOC. During the two-day visit, the External Affairs Minister also attended the second meeting of the high-level mechanism on cultural and people-to-people exchanges in Beijing. During detailed discussions between Indian and Chinese foreign ministers, the two leaders discussed the full gambit of relations relating to the international situation, regional aspects and the bilateral relations, including the visit of President Xi Jinping to India for the second informal summit later this year and celebrating the 70th anniversary of establishment of diplomatic relations next year. The External Affairs Minister noted that since Wuhan's informal summit, there has been progress in the overall relationship. The two countries agreed that maintenance of peace and tranquility in border is essential for the smooth development of these relations. The economic relationships has seen some progress, but the increasing trade deficit was a matter of great concern. It also emphasized that the Chinese side should take steps to address these issues, including by enhancing greater access to our pharmaceutical and IT product and services in the domestic Chinese market. With the rains relenting after battering the southern states over the past few days, rescue and relief work is on in full swing in the flood-ravaged districts of Kerala and Karnataka. In Kerala, authorities are scouring a landslide hit Kavalpara and Puthumala in Malappuram and Wayanad districts, the worst hit, and have traced over 50 people missing since August 8th. Over 80 people have lost their lives in the rain-related incidents across Kerala so far, while over 2.5 lakh people have taken shelter in various shelter homes. In neighbouring Karnataka, the death toll was 48 till Monday evening, while 12 were still missing. Chief Minister B.S. Yedurappa, who is touring the flood-hit areas of Dakshina Kannada and Mysuru districts, expressed hope that the situation in the flood-hit parts will be back to normal in 6 to 7 days, and there has been a let-up in the rains. Meanwhile, the state government has requested the centre to immediately release 3,000 crore rupees. Yedurappa has announced an assistance of 5 lakh each to those who have lost their houses in the floods and landslides to take up construction. The Chief Minister has also announced 1 lakh to those whose house have been damaged to and repair work, and 5,000 monthly to those staying in rental accommodation till their houses are ready. The flood situation in western Maharashtra has improved, with the water levels of two crucial rivers in the worst hit Sangli and Kolhapur districts receding and relief and rescue operations going on in full swing. The Mumbai-Bengaluru National Highway 4, which was closed near Kolhapur in Maharashtra for the last 6 days, was partially opened for traffic on Monday after the floods waters receded and thousands of stranded trucks carrying essential commodities were allowed to travel. Traffic movement also between Kolhapur and Shorapur in Belgaum in Karnataka is taking place. In the wake of the ongoing flood crisis, the Indian Air Force has launched a large-scale operation to help the flood-affected people of Gujarat, Kerala, Karnataka and Maharashtra. And a large number of aerial missions are being launched to ensure relief material reached even the most inaccessible areas and maximum people are brought to safety. It also has established hub centers to affected states to create seamless air bridges for rescue teams and to provide people with relief materials. The Indian Air Force involved in the biggest rescue operations in this monsoon season in Gujarat The Air Force rescued people stuck in floodwaters in Kutch district of Gujarat. People living along with the local authorities. The Indian Air Force joined forces with the Gujarat Police and National Disaster Response Force to rescue over 300 people. The massive rescue operation took place on Sunday. The Indian Air Force has rescued nearly 125 people stranded on a road washed away by floods due to heavy rains in Kutch district. Those rescued include women and children, even infants. At least 7 people were killed while several others fear trapped after a speeding truck turned turtle near Badaun in Uttar Pradesh in the wee hours today. 5 others suffered injuries during the incident and were rushed to a nearby hospital. The speeding truck loaded with wheat sacks was coming from Badaun when the incident occurred at a crossing. While taking a turn, the driver lost control of the vehicle and it toppled over a small tea shop. Some people standing at the shop also got trapped under the truck. An early warning system which helps prevent human-elephant conflict is being installed in villages situated in forest areas in North Bengal region, which often witnesses incidents of elephant attack. The Forest Department has installed 16 automated elephant tracking devices in several villages near Gorumara National Park in Jalpaiguri, while 12 other such devices have been set up around the Mahananda Wildlife Sanctuary in Darjeeling districts on a pilot basis. The system mounted with the help of a pole and has infrared technology, temperature and movement sensors along with the control installed in it. The device can track elephants in 200 meters radius and alert concerned officials about it. On to international stories. Operations resumed at the Hong Kong International Airport with flights started departing and arrival a day after protesters struck down the major travel hub. Passengers with luggage were being checked in for and flights, and only a handful of the thousands of protesters who flooded into the airport a day earlier remained in the building. Authorities announced yesterday afternoon that the cancellation of all remaining arriving and departing flights from the airport after more than 5,000 black-clad pro-democracy protesters staged a peaceful rally at the building. The posters by protesters have been taken down. However, protesters said they plan to return to the airport later in the day to resume the demonstrations. US President Donald Trump's administration takes action to make it more difficult for poorer legal migrants to extend their visas or gain permanent status or a green card. The long-anticipated rule takes effect from October 15th and would reject applications for temporary or permanent visas for failing to meet income standards or receiving public assistance such as welfare, food stamps, public health and Medicaid. According to the notice, such a change would ensure that immigrants are self-sufficient in that they do not depend on public resources to meet their needs, but rather rely on their own capabilities as well as the resources of family members, sponsors and private organizations. The overall is part of President Trump's efforts to curb both legal and illegal migration as an issue he has made into a cornerstone of his presidency. Advocates for immigrants have criticized the plan as an effort to cut legal immigration without going through Congress to change US law. Saudi Arabia and Abu Dhabi on Monday discussed the situation in Yemen at a meeting held in Mecca. The meeting came after the Saudi-led coalition intervened in Aden on Sunday in support of Yemeni government after UAE-backed southern separatists effectively took over the port city. The UAE, Saudi Arabia's main military ally on the ground for most of the war, has drawn down forces since June. Saudi Arabian and UAE rulers meeting comes as an apparent effort to stop further damage to their alliance that would boost their common enemy, the Houthis and the regional Shiite Muslim Iran. Iran meanwhile unveiled an upgraded missile defense system with a range of 400 kilometers which is able to diffuse against cruise ballistic missiles and drones. It is believed to be an improved version of the Gamma system, which military experts said was of the Russian origin. The announcement comes at a time of rising tension between Iran and the United States. The concerns about Iran's long-range ballistic missile program contributed to Washington last year exited the pact that Iran sealed with world powers in 2015 to rein in its role as a nuclear ambition in exchange for an existing or economic sanctions. On to sports, Aishwarya Pese became the first Indian to claim a world title in motorsports, annexing the FIM World Cup in the women's category in Hungary. Aishwarya had already won the first round in Dubai, finishing with a tally of 65 points, just 4 ahead of Portugal's Rita Vieira in the final overall standing. For women, the 23-year-old woman from Bengaluru stood second in the FM junior list. Joey is contemporary on Sunday. American Simona Biles became the first woman in almost 70 years to win a 6th all-round title at the US Gymnastics Championships in Kansas City. The 22-year-old, a 4-time Olympic gold medalist, scored 118.5, with 16-year-old Lee second on 113.3. The win moves her level with Clara Scott Lombardi, who won her 6th US all-round title in 1952. Biles became the first woman to attempt and land a triple twisting double back maneuver during a floor routine. Biles missed the championship in 2017 but has now won the US all-round title 6 times in 7 years. She has now won 20 straight all-round events in which she has competed, a date that runs back to 2013. Simona Biles wins that record, equaling 6th US Gymnastics Championship title there, the first woman to land a triple-double during floor exercise competition. She took the top scores of floor, vault and balance beam. She wins that record, tying 6th US women's gymnastics title. She also keeps raising the bar in a sport that failed her. Real Madrid veteran Marcelo was the only player on either side to miss as Roma won Sunday's evening Mabel Green Cup on penalties following a 2-2 draw. Gareth Bale came on as a second-half substitute and scored in a penalty shootout as Real Madrid lost to Roma in a pre-season friendly in Rome. Bale returned to the squad after missing numerous friendlies following the collapse of a move to China. The game was drawn 2-2 in normal time as equalizers from Roma's Diego Perotti and Edin Dzeko cancelled out goals from Marcelo and Casemiro. Marcelo's miss gave Roma a 5-4 win in the shootout in the final. Zidane now needs to focus on his 2019-20 season after a disappointing pre-season. Real Madrid now will turn to Galicia to face Celta next weekend. Back home, Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar today dedicated Watan, a new patriotic music video by Doordarshan, to the nation. A musical video song that celebrates New India was sung by playback singer Javed Ali. Speaking on the occasion, the INB minister said that peace is prevailing in J&K post end of special status.
फोटो पे तेरे प्यार के नगमे खिलाएंगे तू देखना बता तुझे कैसा सजाएंगे तू देखना बता तुझे कैसा सजाएंगे
मुझे लगता है कांग्रेस की हताशा है, निराशा है और दिशाहीन राजनीति है। करण सिंह, ज्योतिरादित्य, मिलिंद देवरा, आरपीएन सिंह और अन्य नेता जनार्दन द्विवेदी नेता अलग बोल रहे हैं, चिदम्बरम, मणिशंकर अय्यर ये लोग अलग बोल रहे हैं। A party in perennial confusion, सदा के लिए वो उनके स्टैंड का कोई पता नहीं लगता। लेकिन हम बताना चाहते
कश्मीर में आवाम को तरक्की मिलेगी और आवाम को सही में उनके अधिकार जो 70 साल डिनाई किए थे वो मिलेंगे, और इसलिए वो खुश है। और इसलिए आपने देखा लोगों ने बहुत कोशिशें की या बहुत अपेक्षा उनकी थी कि बहुत गड़बड़ होगा, डिस्टर्बेंस नहीं हो रहा है। कल जिस तरह से बकरी ईद का पूरा लोग बाहर आए और जिस तरह से अदा किया अपना प्रेयर्स, तो ये बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है। कश्मीर बहुत जल्दी नॉर्मल होगा, यह हमें पता है और विश्वास है। लेकिन कुछ लोग उसमें फिलिस्तीनी अगर देखेंगे कि फिलिस्तीन बनेगा वगैरह, तो वो उनकी नकारात्मक सोच है और चिदम्बरम जी उसको कॉम्युनलाइज करना चाहते। ये घटिया राजनीति है।
Well, after the revoking of Article 370 and as Raksha Bandhan and Independence Day are fast approaching, designer Rakhis with Article 370 and Article 35A embellishments have taken over the market. In a world where everything is almost always commercialized and commodified, a group of volunteers have been running a restaurant that has a unique outlook towards the service it provides. Customers are treated as guests and serving food is not business but an act of humanity.